for you. I spent years becoming smaller, carefully adjusting myself to fit inside other people's expectations, laughing at the right moments, hiding the heavier parts of my mind, trying not to feel like too much for anyone. Then you arrived so casually, like you had no idea what your kindness was undoing in me. And somehow conversation stopped feeling performative. I could pause before answering, I could exist without rehearsing myself first. I think that was the first real sign I loved you. Not butterflies or fireworks, just relief. Because being understood is one of the loneliest things to live without. You were the person I felt most like myself around, like my soul finally stopped bracing for disappointment. And maybe that sounds small to other people, but to me it felt life-changing. You made ordinary moments feel emotionally safe, like silence no longer needed to be survived. And after years of feeling slightly misplaced in the world, you made existence feel softer somehow. I remember nights we spent saying almost nothing, just existing beside each other after difficult days. And somehow that quiet carried more comfort than most words other people ever gave me. You noticed sadness before I explained it, the quieter kinds I usually buried beneath humor. And you never forced me to become easier to love. You simply stayed gentle while I learned how to open slowly. I think people underestimate tenderness because it does not announce itself loudly enough. But honestly, being loved calmly changed me more than chaos ever did. No dramatic beginning, just my nervous system slowly learning your presence meant peace. You were the person I felt most like myself around, and losing that has been its own kind of grief. Because heartbreak is not only missing another person, sometimes it's missing the version of yourself they uncovered too. And even now I still carry pieces of you in the softer ways I speak to myself, like loving you taught me gentleness long after you stopped being mine. I used to think love was about intensity, about passion powerful enough to consume people completely. But now I think real love might be quieter than that. Maybe it's simply finding someone who allows your mind to rest, someone whose presence feels like permission to stop pretending all the time. You were the person I felt most like myself around, and I don't think I understood how rare that was until your absence turned ordinary life lonelier again in all the small invisible ways. But even if we never find our way back to each other, I think part of me will always remain grateful that for a little while I knew what it felt like to be fully seen and still love gently. Before you, I was surviving, You were never loud about your feelings, never the kind to turn love into performance. No giant speeches in the middle of the night, no dramatic promises about forever. Instead you showed up in smaller ways, like remembering how I take my coffee, or staying awake when anxiety kept me restless, even when you had work early the next morning. And back then I don't think I understood fully how rare that kind of tenderness actually was, because quiet love is easy to overlook until it becomes the thing you miss most afterward. I used to think love needed to be overwhelming. You taught me it could also feel safe. You loved me in all the quietest ways, in tired conversations and gentle patience, and learning my sadness without trying to erase it, and staying beside me anyway. You made ordinary life feel softer somehow, like peace had finally entered the room. And even now your absence feels loud to me, because your love was once everywhere, and the silence too. I remember rainy evenings spent beside you, neither of us saying very much at all, just music playing softly through the apartment, while your hand rested absent-mindedly in mine. And honestly, some of the happiest moments of my life looked exactly like that. Nothing dramatic, nothing people would write movies about, just feeling emotionally safe beside another person after years of loneliness, pretending to be independence. You noticed the quieter parts of my hurting, the exhaustion underneath my attempts to seem okay. And loving you slowly taught my nervous system that closeness did not always end in pain. No fireworks, no chaos, just consistency becoming intimacy over time. You loved me in all the quietest ways, through ordinary days no one else would remember, through soft patience and sleepy phone calls, and all the little moments that slowly became sacred. And maybe that's why losing you feels different, not sharp exactly, just endlessly deep, like silence itself, remembering someone who used to fill it with warmth. I used to believe the strongest love would feel intense, like storms or reckless passion or losing control. But now I think the deepest kind of love might actually feel calmer than that, like finally finding someone who makes survival feel less exhausting, simply because they exist beside you gently. So if I still carry you everywhere emotionally, I think it's because your love changed me quietly first. It softened parts of myself I had kept guarded for years, without ever asking me to become someone easier to hold. And even if life never brings us back together, part of me will always remain grateful that for a little while I knew what it felt like to be loved gently, in all the quietest ways. Not loudly, not perfectly, just softly enough to change my life. So Sometimes I still think about those evenings when the world felt smaller and softer around us. Streetlights glowing through the car windows, music low enough to hear each other breathe. We talked about everything and almost nothing, future plans, childhood fears, meaningless little stories. And somehow those ordinary conversations became the safest place my mind had ever known. Back then I thought happiness would feel louder, something dramatic enough to recognize immediately. But now I understand the deepest peace in my life arrived quietly beside you. Over time, I didn't notice how deeply I loved you at first, because loving you felt so natural. And I think my heart still lives in those nights, somewhere between tired laughter and midnight drives, and all the quiet moments nobody else would remember, but somehow changed my entire life. 'Cause even now when loneliness settles softly over me, part of my mind still returns to those evenings, like memories trying to bring me home again. I remember the way you listened carefully, like my thoughts deserve more time than silence gave them. You made being understood feel effortless after years of feeling emotionally misplaced everywhere else. And maybe that's why losing you felt unreal at first, like my heart refused to accept the distance completely. 'Cause people do not simply disappear after becoming part of your emotional rhythm for so long. Some nights I still drive with no destination, just to recreate the feeling of those hours beside you. The soft music, the city lights, the illusion that life was briefly gentle. No chaos, no fireworks, just peace slowly becoming love. I think my heart still lives in those nights, in coffee cups forgotten beside the bed, in sleepy conversations that lasted until sunrise, and all the little moments we never thought to save. And now the memories feel strangely alive, sometimes like echoes still moving through empty rooms. Because once someone becomes your emotional home, part of you keeps searching for them in familiar places forever. I used to think healing meant leaving the past behind, but maybe healing is something softer than that. Maybe it's learning how to remember someone without letting the memory destroy you, learning how to carry warmth and grief together inside the same heart. So yes, part of me still misses you deeply, in ways language never fully explains. But another part feels grateful those nights existed at all, because they taught me what peace could feel like. And even if time slowly changes everything, even if your voice fades gently from my memory someday, I think my heart will always recognize the feeling of being loved by you in those quiet midnight hours. Some nights are temporary, they live inside us forever. For you I had learned to live carefully, to keep parts of myself hidden behind humor and distance. I answered questions with half-truths, changed the subject when conversations became too honest, and called that survival. Then you started noticing things I never explained, the pauses in my voice, the exhaustion underneath my smile. And somehow your kindness never felt invasive, just patient enough to let me slowly unfold beside it. I didn't realize how tired my heart had become until your presence started feeling like rest. No sudden miracle, just softness arriving where fear used to live. I think loving you healed something in me, something quiet I had carried for years, like my soul had been holding its breath too long, and your love finally taught it how to exhale. You made tenderness feel believable again, made closeness stop feeling dangerous somehow. And after all the loneliness I lived through before you, it felt almost impossible to me. You listened carefully when I spoke about difficult things, not trying to solve them immediately, just staying beside me long enough for the sadness to feel lighter, shared between two people. And honestly, I think that changed me more than anything dramatic ever could, because healing is rarely loud. Sometimes it's simply another person treating your heart gently for long enough that it slowly stops expecting pain everywhere. I began sleeping easier after hearing your voice, began imagining futures that did not terrify me, began understanding that love could feel peaceful instead of exhausting all the time. No fireworks, no chaos, just safety slowly becoming attachment. I think loving you healed something in me, in all the small invisible ways, through ordinary nights and tired conversations, and all the moments nobody else would ever notice. And even now, after all the distance between us, I still carry traces of that healing everywhere. In the gentler way I speak to myself, in the hope I thought I had permanently lost before you. I used to believe love was supposed to hurt deeply, that intensity meant sincerity. But you taught me something quieter than that, that real love might simply feel like peace, like finally finding someone who does not make survival harder than it already is. And maybe that is the rarest kind of intimacy, being loved softly enough that your entire inner world begins changing shape around it. So even if our story could not last forever, even if life eventually carried us apart, I will always be grateful for the version of myself that existed while being loved by you. Because some people leave your life and still leave healing behind afterward. And I think loving you did that to me, more than you will probably ever fully know. You did not save me, but you reminded me I was still worth loving gently. I tried meeting new people after you, tried convincing myself the heart could simply restart, smiling through conversations that sounded fine on paper, while something inside me stayed emotionally elsewhere. Nobody did anything wrong exactly, they were kind in all the expected ways. But kindness started feeling different after knowing yours, like my soul had already learned a rarer language. Because you listened like you truly wanted to understand me, not just reply when silence arrived. And after being loved that carefully for long enough, every shallow connection feels louder than it should. I think certain people quietly raise the standard for what your heart can feel at home inside. So now I still compare everyone to you, to the calm your presence carried into ordinary life, to the way even difficult days felt softer whenever your voice reached mine at night. And maybe that's unfair to the people after you. Maybe healing should look different than this, but loving you changed my understanding of closeness in ways I still haven't learned how to undo. I miss how naturally we existed together, how silence never needed to be repaired. We could spend hours saying almost nothing, and somehow I still left feeling understood completely. You knew the quieter versions of my sadness, the ones hidden underneath humor and tired smiles. And you loved me gently through those seasons without making me feel difficult to carry. I think that's what my heart still searches for now. Not perfection, not intensity, just the rare emotional safety we accidentally built together. No fireworks, no chaos, just peace becoming attachment slowly over time. So yes, I still compare everyone to you, to the softness that existed around loving you, to the way my nervous system finally rested for the first time in years beside another human being. And honestly, maybe part of me always will, because some people don't simply become memories, they become the measure for what love means afterward. I used to believe moving on meant replacement, like eventually someone new would arrive and erase the emotional shape another person left behind. But now I think love changes us more permanently than that. Some connections become part of your emotional structure, part of the way you understand understand comfort, tenderness, and once your heart experiences something real enough, it cannot fully pretend less is enough anymore. So now I move carefully through new conversations, trying not to search for you inside everybody else, trying to let people arise themselves without carrying the weight of your memory too. But some nights I still miss you quietly, in all the ordinary ways that never fully disappear. Because loving you raised the standard of my loneliness, and nothing has felt quite the same since you were here. I don't want another version of you, I just wish I still had you. If I had known that night was ending something, I would have stayed awake a little longer, pay closer attention to your tired voice, memorize the way you laughed between sentences. But everything felt painfully ordinary then. You were talking about your week, your coffee getting cold, and I was already making future plans in my head, like love was something time could never touch. No music swelling in the background, no sign written quietly across the sky. Just another evening becoming a memory without asking permission first. I think that's what hurts the most. The last time never feels like the last time while it's happening, because I didn't know it would be the last time. The last sleepy conversation before sunrise, the last moment your name still belonged naturally inside the future I imagined for my life. And now every memory feels unbearably fragile, like holding light inside shaking hands. Because once someone disappears from your everyday world, even ordinary moments become sacred afterward. I still replay tiny details from that evening, the color of the street lights on your face, how absent-mindedly you reached for my hand, like loving me still felt automatic then. And maybe it did, maybe neither of us understood yet how close we already were to becoming strangers. In the quiet emotional ways heartbreak begins, I used to think endings arrive dramatically with final speeches people never forget. But now I know they often happen softly while two people are still pretending tomorrow exists. No warning, no final perfect goodbye, just life moving forward before I was ready. And I didn't know it would be the last time, the last version of us untouched by distance, before silence slowly replaced familiarity, and memory became the only place you still lived. Now sometimes I miss you in such specific ways that it physically hurts to breathe through it, because grief is strange like that. It hides inside details nobody else can see. I think part of heartbreak is realizing how many beautiful moments pass unnoticed while we live them. How often we assume there will be more time, more chances, more ordinary evenings together, until suddenly there aren't. And all that remains are small memories carrying possible emotional weight. So now I hold every quiet memory carefully, the unfinished conversations, the tired smiles, the warmth. 'Cause even if our story could not survive life, it still existed beautifully for a while. And maybe one day this sadness will soften. Maybe time will teach my heart to loosen its grip. But tonight I still miss you, like someone who didn't know they were saying goodbye when they should have. If I had known, I would have stayed longer. I would have listened harder. I would have held you differently.